How you doing? This is Zach Allen. So I saw the best video the other day of Francesco Molinari practicing. And for those of you that don't know him, he was British Open champion last year, undefeated in the Ryder Cup. He's only about 5'8", 160 pounds. And last year, when I looked at his driving stats, he was 301. I think he was 52nd on tour. And a lot of his recent success is because he's driving the ball farther. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this video and let's see what he's actually doing in this practice swing, and then we'll go ahead and take it apart and see what we can learn from it. So pretty interesting video, right? Definitely a different practice swing. And he's quoted there as saying that I feel like I'm squatting down or getting heavier to start my downswing, and then I'm jumping off of my lead foot, right, his left foot. And you actually can see there, he actually gets in the air as he makes that practice swing. So he's using the ground, or he's using ground reaction forces better to develop more power, okay? So I think a great analogy for this, I'm on my body track pressure mat again. The video I put out a couple weeks ago really got a lot of good feedback, so I thought we'd do some more stuff with this. There's a bunch of different screens. The screen I'm actually referencing here is called dynamic vertical force, okay? And just so you know what we're looking at here, go ahead and steady that again. So that unit of 1 is a measurement of my body weight. I weigh about 185 pounds right now. That's me at 185 pounds. But you can see here as I start to go up and down, my body weight is starting to fluctuate. It's starting to get lighter and heavier at all different moments. Okay, so a great analogy for what Francesco's doing is somebody taking like a med ball slam, right? This is an impact bag, but you get the point. So if I was to take this med ball slam, you'll see what actually happens to my weight as I go to do it. Okay, you'll see a change in my weight to where I actually unweight or get lighter before I actually start to press down and get heavier. And that gives me a much better capacity to go the other way as I come through the shot. And that's a big thing that these elite golfers are doing, the ones that are hitting it really far. And you'll see, especially somebody that's smaller in stature, like Francesco, like Rory McIlroy, they've got to be very efficient and very knowledgeable in how they use the ground. And it's always amazing when I read quotes from these guys, they know exactly what they're doing. They're very well coached, but they're very well versed in exactly how much potential we can get out of the ground by learning how to leverage and push up off of the ground. So what I want you guys to kind of take from this, right, is obviously we want to start our downswing by getting into a position to where we can actually press our weight against the ground, just like he's doing in that video. And realizing as you're doing that, there's probably more going towards our lead side at that point, right? We put a little pressure onto our right side, there's probably more going towards our lead side as we start to do that. And you see every time I do this, you can see the weight starting to spike, right, as I press more down into the ground. Anybody that's taking swings and they're just doing more of this, and you see there's not a lot of reaction there going on the mat, we're not going to get as much speed with the club. Okay, so the first thing that you'll do is, like him, get a feel for starting to press down, right? You can't go up before we, unless we go down first. So I'm really getting a good sense of pressing down into the ground as I start my transition. Okay, so here I am at about halfway down. At this point, when my left arm is parallel, usually a long hitter will almost get 2.5 times their body weight into the ground, right? So that's a lot of weight, that's a lot of momentum going into the ground. From that point there, that's about the point we start to push up and around. And that's where he says he feels like he jumps off his lead foot. Okay, a very good analogy here is a weight on a string. So we've all seen this analogy of, a weight on a string going in a circle, which is a good one, but I'm going to show you a little differently, right? Because the golf swing only swings in one circle as we're coming through, okay? And how can we get this weight going as fast as possible? Watch what my hand does. So in order to really get it going, it's doing two things. First, it's dropping, and then it's pulling back hard, okay, to really get this weight to accelerate. So if I show you that in slow motion, my hands, much like the golf swing, we're dropping before we start to pull up and back. And that's the same thing that accelerates this weight, and it's the same thing that'll accelerate your club head. If you go home and try it, obviously if I'm just doing this, this is different. If I'm swinging it from just one point, do you see what I'm trying to do there? So I'm actually, you can even see the ground forces changing as I do that. So I'm letting it go down before I start to pull it up and back. So back to the swing. Go ahead and steady that again. We're feeling this go down as I start to press my weight down. Now from about left arm parallel, we start to feel it pull up and back, okay? For those of you that are scared that you're gonna pull your head up or you're gonna pull up and top it, our goal is to still take a divot when we do this. So as you practice, go ahead and strike the ground as you come through. So we just know that that's not gonna make me pull up and top the ball, but it is going to get your swing energized by just using ground reaction forces more powerfully, right? We've got a good squat to start, and then about this crucial point here, up and out of it as you come through. By all means, start with a few easy practice swings. Remember that your goal is to generate more speed and power, but as you learn something, that might not be the case right off. So just these first couple, just take it slow. Feel the force before you force the feel. Okay, so I would go about it something like this. I might even actually get up to the top. I can feel a little bit of unweighting, my body getting lighter before it actually starts to go down and get heavier. I would maybe pause at that crucial halfway down point and then go ahead and hit it. So obviously there's some different proprioceptions going on there with what your balance and what your levels are going to be doing. Maybe for those of you that have just always swung like this and tried to stay perfectly still, okay? But if we want to get more power and use the ground better, we want to feel some of that down before we press up. And trust me, once you get the feel, it might take a couple buckets and a little bit of just rehearsal in a mirror, your consistency will get even better, and I guarantee your speed will get faster. So let's go ahead and take that tip from Francesco and see if we don't start hitting the ball a little bit better. For those of you that have never seen me before, thanks for tuning in and watching. And if you could, go ahead and like or subscribe so we can get more of these videos out to you at some point. Have a great day.